very important, which we have iterated, which we have stated earlier also. I am reiterating that finite temperature difference. If there is a finite temperature difference, remember, heat transfer will be irreversible. There is no doubt about it. Okay. Remember this thing. Keep this thing in mind. Okay. Now, let me give you various examples, and then you will you identify whether it's internally reversible and so on. Okay. So we'll spend half an hour at least on this, then half an hour on problems of availability and general equation for closed system, which we stopped in the previous class because there was some confusion regarding the boundary temperature. So all these things will be clear today. Yeah, and then for next hour is going to be easy. Okay. So remember this concept, and this is going to help us a lot. This is the key concept. If we follow this, there is no scope of confusion. Great. Now, first take an example of Carnot cycle. Okay. So if we'll take an example of Carnot cycle, you remember that if we'll draw a PV diagram. So we know that this is an isotherm, and this is also an isotherm. Here system takes, so this is Carnot cycle. So here QH is given from, and what is the temperature of this isotherm by the way? TH, right? So how we pass this QH heat? Can anyone tell me? How we give the system to QH heat? What are the means to provide QH? Anyone? How you provide heat to? So this cycle is for your engine. This is nothing but the cycle performed by your Carnot engine. So how you provide heat to this system? What you will do?
High temperature reservoir.
Thermal reservoir. So we have a thermal reservoir. And what is the reservoir temperature? Reservoir temperature TH. Yeah, so TH plus delta T. Very good. Slightly greater. So in practical sense, it's TH. Very good. Okay. Perfect. And then there is a rejection of heat also. QL. Here you put another thermal reservoir whose temperature is TL plus. So this is also TL. Your compression isotherm, and this is also TL. Slightly greater than TL, as I think Bhavna commented. Okay. Now you see this thing very clearly. Let's talk about cycle first, so that there is no scope of confusion. So first we'll talk about cycle or engine. All the curves are solid line. So what I am saying, what I am claiming, it's a reversible cycle, isn't it? Reversible.
Yes, sir.
Good. So once the moment it is reversible cycle, and Sneh, I think I answered your reply also. I responded to that. I think you got it.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I'll discuss that thing also. Yeah. So everything is here now, no confusion. So can anyone comment? Is there any reversibility associated with the engine? Irreversibility? Any irreversibility associated with the engine? No, because cycle is reversible. Okay. We are saying cycle, we know Carnot cycle is reversible. How reversible? Right now, we know it's internally reversible. Because internal means what? So first of all, when you say internal, external, it's important to identify the system. Engine is my system or cycle. This is my system. So since my whole engine is working reversibly, my system is working reversibly, one thing I can guarantee is internally reversible. If there is any confusion, you can interrupt me. Okay. And for all of you, be attentive. I can ask anyone once I teach this internal and external reversible concept. So it is internally reversible. Okay. Now let's talk about what is coming from outside. So we have a thermal reservoir, and as I think Bhavna said, that thermal reservoir is almost of the same temperature of the temperature of this. So let's say this is the system. Okay, this engine is the system, and this is the location where heat is coming in. and temperature here is, let's say, TH. Okay, and it is in contact with a thermal reservoir whose temperature practically equal to TH, or you can say TH plus some dt H. So now heat is going from hot reservoir to engine. Now can anyone tell me this heat transfer is reversible or irreversible? The temperature difference is finite or very small, infinitesimally small?
That is infinitesimally small.
Yeah, so it means heat transfer, yes.
It is reversible.
Yeah, heat transfer from. Similarly, it is the case for this also. So now here, let's say here is the sink. So at this location on the system, that's what I call local temperature. So at this location, heat is going to sink, and here temperature is TL, and sink temperature, let's say TL minus DTL. So both heat transfer, since it's an infinitely small temperature difference, both heat transfer are reversible. Since whatever is happening from outside the system is also reversible, this we will call it externally reversible. So it means Carnot cycle in contact with two thermal reservoirs whose temperature are roughly equal to the TH and TL. This whole system is reversible both wise, internally also and externally also, and hence in total it is reversible. That is example number 1. Here both things are reversible. Okay, let's go to another example. Now what you do, let's say we have a heat engine. Okay. So let's say we have a heat engine. So we start with the reversible area. So we have a heat engine. You can say this way. The reversible heat engine. Okay, we have a reversible heat engine. Let's say this temperature is THS. So this is my system. Okay, system. At this location temperature is THS. At this location temperature is TLS. This is TH hot reservoir. This is TL cold reservoir. Okay. When you say local temperature THS, listen carefully. So THS and TLS are look, and heat is coming, let's say, from here, QH, and this is going here, QL. Okay. Okay. Now, the moment you are saying that local temperature is THS here, where the system is taking heat, you can think of this way. You can think of this way. Same thing I can draw this way also. Reversible heat engine. I'll put a thermal reservoir at THS. TLS. TH. Yeah. Okay. So rather than saying it that this, so this is also roughly THS. Both are equal. Huh? So I can always, so both are same. It's not. So this is my, you see, rather than putting a point, I can always put a heat reservoir, and then QH is coming here. QH, of course, QH, and then QL, QL. So what I did, rather than saying that heat is directly going to system, I just put a heat reservoir in between. Okay, and since this heat reservoir is doing nothing, just taking heat and rejecting it completely to the system, that's fine, no problem. I can do that. So now you tell me. So see, now you can tell me. I have said reversible heat engine. Okay, reversible. This is my system. So tell me whether this is internally reversible or internally irreversible. Yeah, reversible heat engine. Means heat engine is working reversible. So tell me whether it is internally reversible or not.
Reversible.
Okay, so yes.
Yes, sir. It
Yeah,
is.
internally reversible. Okay, since you are saying this is internally reversible, so can you tell me that when engine can be irreversible? How? What can be the sources? Friction, right? Or any kind of resistance to the movement of the cycle. So yes, there can be irreversibility, but here we are assuming it's working fine. So it's internally reversible. Great. Fine. Okay. Now, if I'll ask you a question that what is the efficiency of this heat engine, what you will tell me? Let's see. So remember, TH is greater than THS. There is a finite temperature difference, and TL is greater. TL is. We can put that TH is greater than THS is greater than TLS. Efficiency of this engine in terms of temperature, 1 minus which temperature you will take. If you have any confusion, take this diagram. I can always replace this THS by a thermal reservoir. Yeah, THT. Yes. Yes. 1 minus.
TLS by THS.
Yeah, that's it. Because you see, this part is still completely reversible. Why? Because my engine is reversible. I have replaced this THS local with in contact with a imaginary heat reservoir, which I can do, no problem. So since this heat transfer is reversible, this heat transfer is reversible, it is fine. I can write 1 minus TLS by THS. Perfect. But TH is not equal to THS. There is a finite difference. So tell me what kind of heat transfer this one is. And this one.
Irreversible.
So it means outside the system, when it is coming, it's externally irreversible. So this is an example of internally reversible but externally irreversible. What else we learn here? Whenever you say local temperature on the system boundary, you simply think of this picture, that rather than local temperature, you imagine means how will local temperature at which your system boundary is slightly greater, and then you will pass the heat. Okay, great. Another example. Heat engine, irreversible. Thermal reservoir, TH. This is also roughly TH. Whether this is practically possible or not, we are not taking care. But we are just taking different cases. We'll see through examples. That only numbers can tell you when you will solve a problem. This is TL. This is TL. Roughly, okay? So, tell me now, without my hint, internally reversible or irreversible? This is my system.
Irreversible.
Yeah, because I am deliberately saying that system is heat engine is working irreversibly. There is maybe friction, some kind of wastage of energy. So internally irreversible. Good. Think outside. So QH, transfer of QH, reversible or irreversible?
Reversible.
Reversible.
Very good. And QL also reversible. So this is example of externally reversible. And of course, if any one of this is irreversible, this is overall irreversible. Okay, great, perfect. You will appreciate it more when we do examples. Let me see some more theoretical cases. Okay. I have one more. This is done. This is done. Yes. One more nice example. Now what we'll do? Same thing, but just to make it more practical. You have a large metal block. Metal block, let's say 1 at temperature TH1. Another metal block. Very large metal block. Metal block 2 at temperature TH2. Then you have water pool, very large water pool. Water pool at temperature TL2. Then one more water pool, very large. Means these all are thermal reservoirs basically. Pool of water, or water pool at temperature TL1. Then you have a heat engine, which is reversible. Here temperature is THS, here temperature is TLS. UH heat is coming, going. Now I am drawing my system boundary. And I have the following conditions given. So seeing this system boundary, tell me about internal, external irreversibility or reversibility. Yes. So 2 metal blocks, 2 water pool, a reversible engine. So first of all, externally, yes.
Irreversible.
Yeah. What is the reason, Bhavna? Or
Because
maybe?
TH1 and TH2 are
Yes,
greater
very
than
good.
TH2.
So there is a finite temperature difference here as well as here. Okay. Internally irreversible. Very good. Externally irreversible. And what about internal?
Internally reversible.
Yeah, because engine is reversible and this temperature difference is very small. So that's all. And now with this, you will see there will not be any confusion. So now we should visit our original problem. Okay. The problem is where we got stuck in the last class, that assignment problem. But before that, I'd like to show you the extract from this, what's the name, that Huang's book, so that you will appreciate it, what I'm trying to say. Let me go to files, and then that extract should be where? Not in assignment, general, class materials, and second law, like this one, download this. Okay, I hope you can see it. So see what he had said, that a quasi-static process is reversible, in more correctly internally reversible. So we will follow this definition. Last class I was not sure, so I didn't claim anything. I said I don't know, I will not say whether it is in fact I said correct it, that I'm not sure whether quasi-static is internally reversible or not, but it is written in the book that quasi-static means internally reversible. So we'll keep in mind. Yes, quasi-static is equivalent to, we can say it, internally reversible. No problem. That is point number one. You should now throughout your life you will remember it. Okay. Then what is said in the second page, that is very important for us. Yeah. What is said that marked in yellow, that irreversibility is encountered when there is a lack of equilibrium during the process. It can be lack of pressure equilibrium, lack of thermal equilibrium, okay, for example, or lack of chemical equilibrium, which you will see. If heat is added to a system through a finite temperature difference, the system will undergo a non-quasi-static process, and thus process is at least internally irreversible. What is the meaning of this line? That if you are passing the heat to system, okay, through a finite temperature difference, then it is saying that that process cannot be quasi-static. Okay, in the mean, what is the meaning of this? It simply means that, let's say, now you see the example which I discussed, then it will be more clear. Okay, let me put a white page and then. I have put, let's say first this example. Huh? You have a reversible heat engine, or let's say heat engine. Right now, don't say anything. Let's say heat engine. Huh? Heat engine. And there is a thermal reservoir TH, thermal reservoir TL, and then THS, TLS. Okay. QH, QL. Of course, TH is greater than THS, greater than TLS, greater than TL. So all differences are finite. If you don't replace this THS by equivalent thermal reservoir, and if you treat this problem strictly in this sense, then can anyone tell me that whether we'll get this heat engine in a reversible manner or not? Whether this heat engine will work reversibly or not? Answer is no. That's what Huang is saying. That if you are passing heat through a finite temperature difference here, if you are passing heat through a finite temperature difference, then quasi-static process is not possible. Means heat engine cannot work reversibly. Cannot work reversibly. That is impossible. And that's why you remember I have put an imaginary. I mean, when you will, here it's imaginary. When you will do the real process, you take another block, another thermal reservoir, which you can keep roughly at THS, and then you take heat irreversibly from top, but pass it to your system reversibly. That is the whole thing. Basically, you have to contain it. If heat is coming to your system irreversibly through finite temperature difference, what is the remedy? Because we want to extract maximum work from the system. Take another reservoir and maintain the temperature of this reservoir at the same temperature of your system. So it will a kind of heat container. It will contain heat which is coming irreversibly from here, and then it will pass slowly to the system in a reversible manner. Okay, so that's what one said. That if there is a finite temperature difference, and what is hidden there, and if you don't put heat reservoir whose temperature are same as the local temperature of your system, then you cannot have a quasi-static process. And why I have shown you that extra? To clarify the last class problem. Okay. So let's go to the last class problem. I'll open it for you. So I guess it should be in downloads. Yes, this one. So problem one has no problem. Problem one has no problem, but problem two we got stuck. That whether it is internally reversible or what. Okay. Because SG was coming something. If you remember, SG S generation is nothing but if you forget, it is nothing but delta S universe. Both are same. You can check if we'll derive it, is nothing but delta S system plus delta S surrounding. Okay. So we found that Sg was coming greater than 0. So we were knowing that process is overall process is irreversible. But we are stuck to claim whether it's internal reversibility or irreversibility, what it is. Okay. So read the question carefully. We have 1 kilogram. You can see that we have a reservoir here at 250 degrees Celsius. Okay. And this heat you are passing to steam whose temperature is varying. It's starting from saturated water from 25 degrees Celsius and is going to 200 degrees Celsius. Okay. So it means you are passing the heat through to system. How? Anyone? How we are passing this to system?
Irreversible.
Irreversibly, because system temperature is always different than reservoir temperature. You know, system temperature, system is steam temperature is going from 25 degree to 200 degree. So every moment system temperature is different than reservoir temperature. So heat transfer is irreversible. Okay. The moment heat transfer is irreversible, process cannot be quasi-static. Okay. If process cannot be quasi-static, because you're directly passing heat to the system, and the system location temperature and reservoir temperature are different. Okay. So you cannot get a quasi-static process. Quasi-static process. Okay. And hence you cannot get a quasi-static process. This statement is not correct. So yes, there was a mistake in this problem. But still, if I ask you forcefully, assume that expansion process is internally reversible, how we will proceed? Can anyone tell me? What logic we should give? What we should do, Sneh? Still, I want to keep the process internally reversible. So right now, heat is passing.
Sir,
Yeah, yes.
we have to assume another thermal reservoir near
So
the
assume another
cylinder.
thermal reservoir. Very good. A new thermal reservoir. Okay. So here Q is going irreversibly, and then we have to keep in contact with steam. Right? Very good. That is point number 1. Now, what will be the temperature of this thermal reservoir? Whoever has said this answer, what will be the temperature? System temperature, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
But system
Yes,
temperature is varying. System temperature is varying. So basically, you have to use at every time different thermal reservoir or thermal reservoir at different temperature, which should match with the system temperature. Okay. So every time we have to use a reservoir at instantaneous temperature of system, then only you can assume this is internally reversible. Okay, because if you pass the heat suddenly to steam, you can't expect that this steam will expand very slowly. No, it will expand abruptly, irreversibly. Suddenly it will compress the spring. So the only way to make it quasi-static, that pass the heat slowly, and that is only possible if you introduce this new thermal reservoir, so that it will absorb the whatever is coming suddenly, and that it will pass slowly to the system. On this whole hypothesis, this whole this availability equation lies. So that's it. Now let's see a few more solved example, and then we'll go to availability equation. Okay, just to convince you that this is not the concept which I am introducing. It's there what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, few more problems. So now again I have to go to, sorry. And this should be, no, not in class materials, this should be in assignments, I guess. Class materials. General, maybe class illustration. No. General assignments, maybe. Right there. Assignments on second law. Yeah, problems on internal external reversibility. So let me first discuss this thing with you, and then we'll go to ability question, and then we will be a bit faster. Okay. So download. Where is getting downloaded? Again, download. No. Still it is not getting downloaded. What's the problem? Download. Waiting for. Let's open it and download it from here. From here we cannot download it. Yes, yes. No.
So
Close.
click list from
Just a moment. Let me try it this way. It shouldn't be so difficult to download. It is saying waiting for something and it is not getting downloaded. Yeah, what you are saying? What I should do? Here, okay, it is, okay, fine. No, still there is some problem. I don't know, some local problem. Oh, it is. Oh, okay. I have to allow something. Allow. Done. Now I can, I guess. Download. Yes. Okay. Close. Yeah. So let's see these examples also. So I've taken two examples from Suwan's book. Again, just to clarify what is internal, external, reversible, irreversible. So we have 20 kilograms of liquid vapor mixture of H2O initially at 100 degrees Celsius. So liquid vapor mixture, okay, at 100 degrees Celsius. So it's a phase change mixture. And quality is 60%. So you have 60% vapor. This is being cooled quasi-statically. So being cooled means if you assume this is liquid vapor mixture in your system, then your system is rejecting heat to the environment until they are 100% saturated liquid at 100 degrees Celsius. So ultimately, X will be 0 here when you are cooling it down. They can exchange heat with the environment, which is at 25 degrees Celsius, say T naught. For environment, we'll always use this naught. So T naught, T0. Determine the amount of heat transfer for the liquid so that heat transfer process is irreversible. Okay. So if you'll see that this phase change process. So in this phase change process, throughout this process, the temperature is constant. Okay, because it's a phase change process. You can see here. We are somewhere here because we have quality 60%, and then you are cooling it down, and you are coming here. Okay, this is TS diagram. Let's say no problem. Our temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. Remember phase change process. Okay, now let's see who will comment. Phase change process, is it reversible or irreversible, and why? Who will comment on this? Think in terms of heat addition or heat reaction.
Irreversible.
Reversible, because always heat is getting. So do you think that everything will melt down suddenly and heat will go out suddenly, or it will happen in a differential manner? Okay.
will happen in a differential manner.
It will always happen in a differential manner. You can take an example at your home also. Take liquid ice or take complete ice, and then you see how it melts. It doesn't matter how much heat you provide. It will not take that much heat. It will go somewhere else. It will always happen differentially. Okay. That is point number one.
Sir.
So yes.
So we can't generalize this statement that if our system and surrounding are having finite temperature difference, then it will always be irreversible.
Okay, true. Now I'm coming to that question. Yes, but phase change is reversible. I'm not claiming that how it is coming. I'm only saying phase change has to be reversible. Okay. Now how? I'm coming to your question. See, remember, if when I was telling you thermal reservoir, I have given an example. Apart from large body, what was another example? Anyone remembers? That any mixture undergoing phase change, undergoing phase change can be treated as, anyone remember? Thermal reservoir.
Thermal reservoir.
Why? Because its
Because
temperature
it's
doesn't change.
big constant.
And that is also the definition of thermal reservoir. So in that sense, a phase change mixture is a thermal reservoir. And thermal reservoir, Bhavna, it is always reversible. Now, as you commented, that's the temperature difference. So let's say in this example, consider this example. Okay. In this example, tell me, what do you think? Whether heat will go abruptly to the system or it will go differentially, even if the temperature difference is finite.
It will go in a very slow manner, like phase change will.
Differentially. So remember, this is the only example, phase change example, where even if you have temperature difference in environment, so T naught, and let's say your T system, there is a finite temperature difference. Okay. In this example, it is greater. Okay. So you are right that heat transfer, listen carefully, heat transfer from mixture to surrounding, right? That you said irreversible, right? Just a moment. Yeah. So as you said, Bhavna, the T system is greater than T naught. So heat transfer from mixture to surrounding is, yes, Bhavna. Just repeat what you said. Irreversible. That's what you are saying, right? Isn't it?
Means.
Yeah. So this is fine. But it is happening where? Outside the system. So what kind of irreversibility it is? Heat is going out of the system to surrounding. So what kind of irreversibility? External or internal?
External.
External. Right, Bhavna? That's what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Great. So we are not deviating from our original definition that if there is a finite temperature difference, heat transfer will be irreversible. So that's why we have external irreversibility. Fine. Now comment, Bhavna, on this internal reversibility or reversibility. And that's why I asked this question. That how this process is happening.
Sir, can you please repeat your question?
Okay, so it is fine that it is externally irreversible, right? You agree? That's what you said, isn't it? Externally irreversible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am asking you that, sorry, just let me put it in the right place. Now I am asking you, comment on internal reversibility or reversibility. What do you think?
Internally reversible.
Internally reversible. Why? Because this process will happen slowly. Internally reversible. So now one can always cross question me when you are saying internally reversible, heat will go out differentially because system is rejecting heat differentially. You can always argue with me. True, but we'll stick with our original definition of irreversible heat transfer or original definition of a quasi-static process. Quasi-static process says it should happen slowly and slow amount of heat should go into the system or come out of the system. If I see my liquid vapor mixture, that criteria is completely satisfied that heat is going out of the system differentially. So my system is internally reversible, no doubt. So since my system is rejecting heat differentially, of course, outside the system also it will go differentially. It will not go suddenly. That's fine. The heat will go differentially, not suddenly to the outside the system. But we have to stick with the irreversible heat transfer definition, which says the irreversibility is defined that if there is a finite temperature difference. So even if the amount of heat which is getting rejected from the system is not very large, since there is a finite temperature difference, we'll call it externally irreversible. So it means this problem, it is internally reversible and externally irreversible. So when that's all, huh? That's all. There is no. So yeah, it is fine. Is it fine? Think over it. If any confusion coming to your mind, comment. Stop me. Otherwise, you will move. Fine, Bhavna. Both points are satisfied here.
Sir, can you show
Yes,
the
sir.
question one more?
Question one more. Okay. Here. So overall, this process is irreversible. Ani, what was what you were looking for? Tell me.
I know, sir, just I'm copying the question.
Oh no, I'll pass it to you. It's there, na? So no problem. It's there in that
Okay,
assignment. I am not keeping any information with me hidden. Everything is open. Whatever I teach you, I make sure it's there available for you. Don't worry. Don't copy anything. Don't write anything. Just listen me. Everything is there. I'll put everything. Don't worry about these
okay,
things. Yeah. You completely right now focus on the on receiving the concept. I'll give you problems also, solutions also. You can check whatever we have done. I'm giving you everything. So don't worry. Okay. So this problem is clear, I guess. So it is clear. Anyone else? Anything coming into your mind? Feel free. Okay. If not, then go to the next problem. Solution you can always see. Okay. It's not. I briefly I can go through it very quickly. That so since this is a phase change, the process is happening at constant pressure, constant T and P, right? Since it's constant T and P, can anyone tell that Q is equal to what? Delta H. You can check. This H2 and H1 you can get from steam table. Mass of the steam is given. So you can calculate from final and initial state or final initial enthalpy that how much heat has been rejected by being rejected by steam. So we know Q12. Okay, fine. Then once we know Q12, what was asked? So heat transfer is done. That part number 1 is done. Now show that heat transfer is irreversible. So let me ask with someone with whom I am less familiar, so that I can be more familiar with. So I can see 51 persons. So today I can talk with Siddhant, right? Siddhant Kumar, and then followed by Siddhant Rajouli. Both are there. Hello, Siddhant Kumar and both Siddhant. Please respond. Hello. Hello. Can anyone call these guys, these two guys, Siddhant, both Siddhant? Any of your
Yes, sir, I'm calling.
Yeah, please. Now one Siddhant Kumar is leaving. And then he will again join and he will say that there was an internet issue. And this Siddhant Rajoli.
Yes, sir.
Why are you not responding? Why are you responding so late?
No, sir. I think there was two Siddhants, so I'm confused.
No, I said both Siddhant respond. What is the confusion? Anyway, since you are here, let's talk. Okay, no problem. Siddhant Thul. Yes. So let's go to the problem and help me. I need your urgent help here. Tell me, how you will calculate heat transfer? Let's see how much you are in the class. Yes, Siddhant Thul, tell me. Part A, how will go for it? देखो डाउनलोड करो, स्क्रॉल डाउन करो. आंसर लिखा है उधर ही. Tell me what we will do. Don't take much time, Siddhant. Otherwise, you will waste the time of the class. Determine the amount of heat transfer for the fluid. I just already stated the answer. Please tell me. You are here to learn, not to waste time. So you are reading the problem right now. That's the problem. The biggest problem is that being attentive. It doesn't matter which profession you follow. Whether you will be in chemical engineering future or you will go to finance or banking or wherever you go, doesn't matter. If you are not attentive, you will fail. Be a good listener. Chalo, jaldi batao. Part A answer. How we'll do this? Siddhant, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So tell me, Siddhant Thul, I am talking to Siddhant Thul. Amount of heat transfer. So there is a phase change process. How will calculate amount of heat transfer? The steam is changing its phase. Initially, it was 60% vapor. Quality is 60%. And it is going to saturated water. What is the temperature of this liquid vapor mixture, by the way? Hello? You can see the screen, right? The screen is visible to you, Siddhant. Is there any problem? Okay, honestly tell me, where are you listening the lecture? Were you listening the lecture or not? Honestly.
Q is equals to M into H2 minus H1.
Why? Why? Justify it. That is written there, I know. I have uploaded the solution also. Why?
Sir, because it's constant pressure process.
Constant?
Constant pressure process.
So what happened at constant pressure? Just prove that at constant pressure we can write this. Just tell me what I should write. Why this is true for constant pressure process? Why? Yes. How do we know that at constant pressure Q is mH2 minus H1? Please. I'm waiting for it. If you can't answer this, you should visit your.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, Siddhant.
Enthalpy is heat at constant process.
How? That's what I'm asking. How? That's what you need to prove. That's what you have written here. That the enthalpy change is a heat given to the system at constant pressure. How? I'm asking very trivial, no, not trivial, but very easy question, which you could have answered at your J level itself. So please try to answer. Why? I'm just trying to, wake you up, not from the sleep, from in general inactiveness. why heat given to constant pressure is change in enthalpy. Prove it. If you are taking so much time, you can imagine where you are in this subject, which is full of concepts, and there is so much scope of making mistake. You have seen. Even if I overlook, I can make a mistake. So yes, without this, we will not move. You have to answer. Fine. Even if you are wasting time, it's fine, but you have to answer it. Because this really makes me unhappy, so I can't move. Go ahead, Siddhant. Why you are saying at constant pressure heat given to the system is change in enthalpy? From where we will start to prove this? At least tell that thing. You say yes or no. You know it or you don't know it?
No, I don't know, sir.
Why so? What you have learned in this course subject so far? Another Siddhant is there.
Yes, sir.
So try to answer what he said.
Sir, first we will write the expression H is equals to U plus PV.
Okay.
And then we will use the delta. We will calculate the difference. Then it will
Let's
become
do
del H is equals to del U plus del PV, which
Yes.
will be PdV plus VdP.
Very good. Then
Then as it is a constant pressure process, so
Yes,
VdP term will get 0.
and this is equal to
Now PdV will be written as minus of W, and from here we will
yeah.
get
It's a reversible. So basically, it's a reversible, of course. So this is
yes.
okay.
So hence we prove that
Thank you.
heat
Yes.
exchange at
Fine.
constant pressure is
Okay.
yes.
Great. So another Siddhant, you can see it. It was so easy.
Yes, sir.
It's
I had
simple.
responded earlier also, but due to the mixture of both voices, you
Okay, no
didn't
problem.
recognize.
No. I'm not asking. I'm asking to Siddhant. Siddhant, be attentive. It's very easy. I'm not asking something very difficult. I never ask very difficult question. Very difficult question, I try to answer. So I just don't take it seriously, my comments, but don't think over it. Better you work hard and be attentive. That's all I can say.
Yes, sir.
Take it in a positive sense. This is not good, na? Otherwise you don't come. I don't have any problem. I only ask to them who are present mentally, not only physically. Okay. Anyway, so I will solve this problem. We'll take a break and then we'll again meet. So as our another Siddhant already showed it. So that's how you can calculate this Q given to the system. Okay. And then we have to show heat transfer is irreversible. So for that, you know that we have to say S generation or delta S universe. So Siddhant Kumar, you can help me and then we can leave. Delta S system plus delta S surrounding, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for delta S system, what is your suggestion? How we will calculate it? So we said that system is changing reversibly, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It change. So we can use this simple thing. Okay, first of all, delta S system is very easy to calculate from steam table, isn't it? S2
Yes,
minus M, S2 minus S1.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is done. Fine. M, S2 minus S1. Great. Now question arises about delta S surrounding. So any suggestion, Siddhant? Delta S surrounding, how we should go? So surrounding is a heat reservoir, remember, a thermal reservoir, remember. So for thermal reservoir, what we can write?
Sir, heat.
Yes. So heat given to it or extracted from it, whatever it is.
Yes.
So we are giving heat, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
let's put a minus sign. Minus Q, no, sorry, plus, no? Plus Q by Q is coming from the system.
Yes,
So
sir.
Q by
Upon T.
T. Very good. T of what? Environment, T naught.
Yeah, environment.
Now we want to know this Q. And this Q is numerically equal to this Q.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or you can simply say that, yeah, that's all. Nothing else. Yes, true. Nothing else we can say. Fine. So it simply means that, or there is another way to calculate Q also. You can calculate this Q with this delta S system also. You know, same Q. If I want to calculate, you can calculate with this T of system into S2 minus S1 also. I guess you should get same.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because my system is working reversibly. So for my system also I can write this. So it should get the same thing. Anyway, so calculate this plus this Q we know numerically. And since the surrounding is taking heat, it should be plus divided by T naught. And we check whether Sg is coming positive or negative. If it is coming positive, then process is irreversible. And what kind of irreversibility is there, Siddhant? Internal or external?
So can you repeat the question? I missed
Okay.
it.
See what we have. If you check it, Sg, as you said, sir, calculate Sg, and the way you suggested it was right. So let's say I calculated Sg, and Sg is coming out to be, here you can see already, Sg is coming out to be positive quantity. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So S generation is greater than 0. Once S generation is greater than 0, we know that overall process is irreversible, right?
Yes, sir.
Overall irreversible. And we know that overall irreversible means either it is internally reversible or externally reversible. Or externally irreversible or internally irreversible.
Sir, externally.
Externally, because internally we already said it's a phase change, right?
Yes, sir.
Phase change. So internally it is reversible, but externally it has to be externally irreversible. There is no other way. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. Second problem. And then you take a break. Okay. So that when we'll meet, we'll start availability questions.
So can I turn off my mic?
Yes, please. Thank you, Sivan.
Thanks.
Okay, another problem. We have 2 kilograms of nitrogen gas confined inside a cylinder equipped with piston. Undergoes a change of state quasi-statically from 300 Kelvin 101.325 kilopascal to a final temperature state of 300 Kelvin 20,000 kilopascal. Heat transfer can occur between the nitrogen gas and a heat reservoir of 300 Kelvin. You notice that in temperature, it's an isothermal process. Temperature is not changing. So system is undergoing through isothermal process. And system temperature is during this isothermal process, anyone? 300 Kelvin. And what is environmental temperature?
300.
300 Kelvin. The moment you say quasi-statically, you are already saying process is internally reversible. No doubt about it. What about external thing, reversible or irreversible? How we are passing the heat? You are saying there is a heat reservoir at 300 Kelvin and your system is always also at 300 Kelvin. So of course,
Externally reversible.
yeah, heat transfer is also reversible. So with plus externally reversible. So what we expect from this, that this process should be overall reversible. Okay.
Yes.
So that this process is both internally reversible and as well externally reversible. So if you calculate Sg, it must come out to be 0. Okay, we know it from in general from our fundamental knowledge also that yes, it should be, but we can check it mathematically also. Okay, so determine the total amount of work transfer from nitrogen gas. Okay, so the total amount of work transfer for the nitrogen gas, because your system is expanding. So just read it. So nitrogen gas is expanding, and it can occur between the nitrogen gas and a heat reservoir. So this is expanding or compressing? Just check. Oh, compressing, na? Because the final state has higher pressure. You see, this
Yes,
is 100 kilopascal. So we are compressing the gas. So work is being done on the system. So if I calculate W by system, it should come out to be negative. And how we can calculate that? It's a quasi-static process, isothermal. So NR. Oh no, not NR. Sorry, it's not an ideal gas. So we have to do how? Work done. We have to go through this U and Q, I guess. Right? There is no other way. Constant temperature, there is no ideal gas. We can see the nitrogen gas table. Okay. So once we see the nitrogen gas table, what we need to see? We need to see, let's say, if delta U if we know. What else we need to know? Q, right? So how we'll do that? Anyone? We know final pressure. We know final. It's a constant temperature process. So how we can calculate Q? Can anyone tell me? Okay, let me tell you what I'm suggesting, and then you can. So I want to know work done by gas. So if I apply first law, W by nitrogen gas, it will be Q minus delta U. That's what I am trying to do. I know my gas is expanding reversibly. Everywhere it's reversible basically. Can I calculate delta U? Let's say nitrogen gas table is given. So I can calculate delta U from the table. Now I'm asking about you how we'll calculate Q. So can anyone comment? And of course, gas is compressing reversibly. So how we can calculate Q for this process?
Sir, delta U will be 0 as the temperature is constant.
Oh, you are making a mistake. It's not an ideal gas. Take a liquid vapor mixture.
Right.
Start from saturated vapor to saturated liquid. It's not same. Okay. So that is never make a mistake. We are taking a real gas. Yeah. So delta U we can calculate from steam table. That nitrogen table. How we'll calculate Q? Let's see who can answer. So in generally in tables, what is given? U is given. H is given. What else is given? H you cannot use because it's not a constant pressure process. What else is given?
So we know the temperature is constant. So if we will calculate delta S, then
Q very good. So we from steam table we can see delta S of system, which is nothing but let's say S2 minus S1 into M, of course, and then this divided into T, right? T of what? T of system, which is of course 300. So T of system. Then you will be able to know Q, reversible. Why we are able to use this formula? Because system is reversible. Then only you can use this formula. Okay. So fine. You from steam table you see S2, S1. You know M. You know T system. Once you know Q, you know delta U. You can calculate W gas. Okay. Determine the total amount of heat transfer for the nitrogen gas already done here. Okay. So that the process is both internally reversible as well as externally reversible. Okay. So for that we have to calculate SG. SG can be calculated delta S system, which is done here already, plus delta S surrounding. Delta S surrounding is nothing but Q by T. Q already mod of Q because system is heat is coming in this time, no? So there will be a minus sign. Okay, we are providing heat. That's why system is expanding. So basically, you are bringing a heat reservoir at 300 Kelvin in contact with nitrogen gas, and nitrogen gas is also maintained at the same temperature, and it is not expanding. It is getting compressed. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's all. So let's see.
So in this case, delta S of universe will be 0, right?
Yes. S is nothing but delta S universe. Yeah, that should be 0. So that we have to check numbers, right? We know from intuition, from the problem statement, but we have to check also. That anything else you were saying? Hello?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So let's see that what are the numbers. So whether our approach was correct or not, whether I will, let's check it. Yeah. So W, that's how they have calculated. You see here. This is the delta U, and this is Q reversible. Okay. So W12 is fine. And U they have calculated H minus PV because generally if U is not available, generally in chart U is not available. We have seen in earlier problems also. So generally we do this H minus PV. Okay. This is fine. Normal. Then yeah. So as I said you, the sense process is quasi-static. We have used this. This is Q12, and Q12 is coming out to be negative. It means when I said heat is coming to the system, I was wrong. Heat is going out of the system. Oh no, that's what I said. No, I said reverse. Anyway, so that you can always check whether Q is negative or positive. I cannot. That's why I said see the numbers. So Q is coming out to be negative. What does it mean? System is taking heat or rejecting it? Rejecting it. Okay. So it is going to the surrounding. So it means for surrounding, it's a gain in entropy. So see in other part they have calculated this. Go down. You will see that. Yeah. So you see this is a system and this is surrounding. Okay. And you see QHR has to be positive taken by the heat reservoir. that should be minus of Q12 because Q12 is negative. So overall, this is a positive quantity. So they have calculated this S generation, and it comes out to be 0. In general, also you can show it without using numbers. Also, you see, very easy. Delta S. So let's say SG. Very easy. It's not very difficult. SG is equal to delta S system plus delta S surrounding. Numerically, let's say heat amount is Q, which will be rejected by the what we call it. Anyway, let's write it. Delta S system is, since it is a reversible process, I can always write T system into S2 minus S1. And delta S system will be, okay, so now you see, we know Q is T system S2 minus S1, that we know. And we also know that, so this is the, in convention, in general thing, this Q is given to the system or taken out of the system. Can anyone tell me? When we write Q equal to T into delta S system, can anyone tell me this Q is given or taken out?
That depends on the sign of delta S.
No, I'm saying in general, forget about, we don't know about delta S in the beginning of the problem.
So it is given to the system.
Okay, remember, Q given to the, that's what we have written, Q to system. So if I want to know Q to heat reservoir, Q2 heat reservoir, what it will be? Minus Q system, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Bhavna, clear? Sneh?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment. Where we were? PDF page. So QHR is minus Q. That's what I was telling. So it means if we'll write now, so if you have any confusion, you just write delta S surrounding will be, let's say, QHR, heat given to heat that surrounding by THR. Okay. And then you have always this thing, remember, QHR is minus Q. Numerically they are equal, but their sign is opposite. So there is no scope of confusion. So T system S2 minus S1, QHR is minus of Q given to system by THR, which is nothing but T naught. Then T system S2 minus S1. And what is Q system? Q system, if you'll see, T system, sorry, minus T system S2 minus S1. Why I'm writing it here? Is there any? Okay, just wait. Delta S. Oh, why here there is no T system? Nah, that is mistake. Sorry. Yeah. So this is T system. T system S2 minus S1 divided by T naught. Okay. So what we are getting? S generation. S generation we are getting S2 minus S1. No, not now. Right now, not. Just in general write it. T system by T naught S2 minus S1. It will be 0 only if T system is equal to
T naught.
Okay, that's what. So in general, you can say that if your system temperature is equal to heat reservoir temperature, in general, SG is going to be 0. It means that if your system is changing temperature, and if you want to keep the process reversible, every time you have to use a new reservoir. You cannot use a reservoir at constant temperature. Okay, that's all. Take a break of 10:16. Now we meet at 10:25, 9-minute break, and then we'll do availability quickly, and then something more. Fine. Thanks. We meet at 10:25. So meanwhile, I'll mute myself.